Hi, I just finished my therapy session and it was very good. We talked about my values assessment that I did, where I had a bunch of terms and then I had to decide which ones really resonated with me and told me about why I do certain things, why I feel certain ways about certain things. It's because of what I value, what I need to feel okay, all that kind of stuff. So I had it in a 3-tiered list. The third tier is like things that I want to embody or exude. And I have down grace, gratitude, self-respect, love, and openness. If I met someone and they said any of those things about me, I would be very happy. Those are things that I think I am and want to continue to be. The second category was things, if I was like a caretaker for myself, things that I want to surround myself, things that I think are good for me. I put family, security, goodness, learning, and honesty. And then my overall values assessment brought me to 5 terms, which are things that I value most, things that I think I need to feel okay. And I put down connection, respect, wisdom, communication, and spiritualism, which I was surprised I put down. I always associated spiritualism with religion, and that's not really something that I talked about much growing up. But through studying philosophy and like Stoicism and having found such comfort in meditation and groundedness, spiritualism is very important to me, and it's something that I can really connect with people over, one of my other terms, and it's something that I find a lot of wisdom in. So we did some exercises today where, through cognitive behavioral therapy, we use certain tools in order to teach ourselves how to assess our behavior and how to adapt it for our best, most fulfilling life. So we gave the example of wisdom, and he had asked me to give an example of something that I did, an action that I think embodies wisdom, one of my core values. And I told him the first story that came to mind was the other week I went to the gas station and I went inside to buy one of those tubes of mini M&Ms, the ones that you can just kind of take like that. And I was checking out, and the man at the counter was wearing like a leather vest with nothing underneath. So not necessarily the type of person that I would see and think, I wonder what he has to say, because of my preconceived judgments of those people. So he said, you know what, I love these things. And I said, me too. They're fantastic. I love mini M&Ms and the feeling that I can crush them. I didn't say that out loud, but that's what I was thinking. And he said, these are great because you can use the container to hold your quarters. They fit perfectly, and it can fit like $24 of quarters in that container. And so I said, wow, I had never thought about that. Thank you for telling me that. And then I left. When I got home, I go to a laundromat because I don't have a machine in my house. And I put all of my quarters in the container. And it's amazing. I was so surprised at how much it worked, but I really liked it and I preferred it. This thing that used to be, in my mind, trash could be reused for something else, and it could be better than what I was doing and alternatives that I could have bought. So it really was, what had made that wise to me was thinking outside of the box and seeing things for more than what we are taught they are. So after going to the laundromat, I meet many characters there, and I think that I really like going to the laundromat. And one of them is I met a grandmother who was in the machine next to me, and she saw me using my tube of quarters, and she said, "That's amazing. I gotta tell my granddaughter." So she FaceTimed her granddaughter, and she was like, "There's this lady over here," and so I was like, "Hi," and I showed her the tube. She goes, "Honey, you have to do this for your quarters at college." And then she's like, "Thank you so much. That is so cool." And I was telling him, like, it works great, and you can cap it. You don't have to worry about it, kind of like, unless you really tip it over, they're not going to fall out. And it holds so many quarters. So from that example might seem what we described in our session as like rudimentary, to call that wisdom. But I truly think it does embody that to me, because it's not about the quarters or the M&Ms. It's about seeing things for more than they appear, I guess. And how, if when doing that, you can find something that's way better and a way to connect to other people. Because I've had a couple people be like, "Why are these M&Ms so heavy?" And I said, "It's $20 in there." So the overall phrase that we came up with in that session was, when he asked me, "This experience, what does it make you feel?" And I said, "It makes me feel kind of proud, and also really grateful that I can recognize that how the beauty in that very small kind of miscellaneous example." And so he said, "Well, let's summarize it." And so, finding the words, I said, "I am grateful and proud because I was open enough to listen, curious enough to try, and then inspired enough to share. And to that embodies wisdom to me." And I just think it's really cool to get messages like that from an M&M container. So this values assessment I can see is invaluable. The applications of using this to assess why I do the things I do, also to not only figure out, okay, this doesn't align with my values, it's wrong to me, how can I fix it? To see to be grateful when things do, to recognize why I'm having so much fun today while I'm with my friends. I feel really connected, it's beautiful outside, and I feel very grounded. And those touch on like 3 of my core values, and that's why I'm happy. And it's really nice to recognize that so many of the things we do, the way that we think, the way that we react, can all be rewinded or connected to these core values. And it's also very helpful to assess why things might feel bad. So say I'm in a conversation and it is like a Friday, and I really thought that my boyfriend was gonna bring me home a burrito, and he didn't, and now I'm sad. About a burrito? No. I'm sad because I had an expectation. I was let down. And what does that expectation mean? That him buying me a burrito and bringing me a burrito makes me feel very connected to him. It makes me feel respected. So those are 2 on my list. And I feel like a disconnect, like a lack of communication there. So that's why my values are offset. So it's much easier for, instead of me being sad and feeling ridiculous and being like, "It's because you didn't bring home a burrito," I can say, "I don't know, I just thought that you were going to, and I think I'm disappointed because that's a way that I feel really connected to you. So how about we go get a burrito together now?" Because it's nice to recognize what's actually wrong and then finding a solution instead of being like, "You messed up my value. What are you going to do about it?" finding a solution for yourself. Be like, I want to feel connected to you, so let's go do something together. And I can still eat my burrito. And I think that is free. That is like endlessly expandable, and the applications and the extrapolations you can use with this values assessment. And I am such a big fan. Another big thing, the last thing I'll say, is that in terms of when you are having some kind of disagreement, even with yourself or with someone else, it might be helpful to assess where you align. So I'm trying to think of an example where if we both want to feel connected to each other, and I do that through talking about how we feel about each other, because I just love to tell people how I feel about them, and also to be reminded that I am valid, all those kind of things. And someone else feels that way through physical touch. Instead of feeling off-put, like you're not giving me what I want, but you want something from me, you can recognize you both have the intention of feeling connected, right? And that is if you're on the same page, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You both want the same thing, but your execution towards that goal is different. And sometimes it can end up not getting you to your intention. It can end up in conflict, which makes you feel disconnected, the opposite of your intention. So sometimes it's important to assess, okay, so what's the overlying thing? What do we both want? And now that with communication, one of my core values, because it's so amazing, can be very powerful, you can say, okay, we want to feel connected, let's compromise. Because once I feel connected through communication or bonding, things like that, then I will also enjoy connection through physical touch. Huge, monumental. I love therapy.